Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. My name is Jasleen Kaur and I'm a translator on the Guru Granth Sahib Project. We're excited to announce the release of So Purakhu, literally meaning that being. And it's a series of Sabads or compositions made up of some compositions by Guru Ramdas Sahib, so that's the first two, and then the third is by Guru Nanak Sahib, and the fourth is by Guru Arjan Sahib. But all four Sabads are revealed in the rag or musical mode of Asa, which, as we know, is the rag of hope. So because this is a lengthier set of Sabads, I thought I would just take you through the summaries of the Sabads and then maybe a little bit on some words that have really stuck with me as I've kind of revisited this. So in the first two Sabads, Guru Ramdas Sahib describes the kind of pervasiveness of IkOankar, of that being, of the divine, permeating all beings and all places. And that IkOankar, that all-pervasive one, manifests beyond sort of human imagination and human knowledge. This is the one who creates all in existence, who is the infinite provider and liberator, who is the remover of suffering. And those who contemplate with deep love and devotion the sort of virtues of the one through Nam, through identification, they become pleasing to the one. They lead a blissful life and they experience freedom or liberation. So that first Shabad really encourages us to kind of long for the company of the ones who can show us how to live in remembrance and praise and devotion. So we ought to seek out the company of those devoted seekers who can kind of help instill those habits and values in us. And in the second Shabad, Guru Ramdas Sahib describes the Eternal One, IkOankar, as the creator and owner of all. And we're taught or guided towards an understanding that by following the teachings of the wisdom, and of the wisdom-oriented beings, we are able to realize the kind of true worth of our lives. Whereas like those who are not wisdom-centered or guru-centered, who instead are self-centered or centered in their minds, follow their minds and spend their minds in ignorance. And so again, we are encouraged to have a relationship with the wisdom and with the wisdom-oriented ones, so that we may imbibe those same virtues, so that we may cultivate those same virtues and experience a transformation. In the third Shabad by Guru Nanak Sahib, we have something new. So those first two Shabads, Guru Ramdas Sahib explored sort of the seeker's desire to discover the sovereign being and establish a connection. And in this third Shabad, Guru Nanak Sahib explores like what happens to a seeker when they become distracted by worldly pursuits and worldly temptations and forget to kind of remain single-mindedly focused on that sovereign. So Guru Nanak Sahib describes this world as a pool where material objects like water are like water, and sort of the temptations of material objects are like mud. And so we as human beings kind of continuously drown in this muck. And so as seekers, we're advised to contemplate the virtues of IkOankar, of the divine, and associate with that community of devoted seekers. So there is this like theme of like really wanting us to kind of seek out particular company and particular examples and particular community that can kind of guide us towards that remembrance and that identification and that praise. And finally, in the fourth Shabad by Guru Arjan Sahib, the Guru describes this birth, this human life, as an opportunity to realize IkOankar, the divine. And we are encouraged, again, to seek the company of the virtuous beings and to engage in identification with IkOankar so that we can fully realize that opportunity and fully kind of make use of our lives in this world. So we're kind of encouraged in that last Shabad to abandon our attachment to material possessions and sort of seize that opportunity. So all that being said, I think the thing that like really strikes me about these Shabads and about this composition as a whole is that like we're not just told that like that being is the one and is kind of if we're connecting it to So Dar, is like beyond, is in that court. That's the being who's in that court. We're now sort of being asked not just like who the sovereign being is, but like what is our relationship to that sovereign being? What relationship are we cultivating, if any? And so the thing that I am really thinking a lot about is the various like words and attributes that are used throughout these shabads, that I kind of understand as a way to get us to know the various like facets of the one, of that being. So we have Hari, remover of suffering or remover of transgressions, the one light, the all-pervasive one. We have Niranjan, the one without blemish. Sometimes we interpret that as the one without the blemish of Maya, the one unaffected by worldly attachment. Agam, beyond reach. Apara, boundless. Sirjanhara, the creator. Datara, the provider, the bestower. Bar Brahm, transcendent or supreme being. Janoi, knower. Raya, the king, the sovereign, and Gobind, the earth knower, which comes in that last Shabad where we're being asked to make use of our time on this earth and get to know the earth knower. And so, like, I think that's what's really struck me, that like these words of praise give us a sense of some of the infinite qualities of that sovereign being. And maybe if the question is like, what relationship have we cultivated with that one, we can start to pull at some of those threads of connection to attributes of the one, so that we can relate to the one who is so vast in ways that feel more like tangible. So yeah, that's what I've been thinking about this composition. And as always, we have footnotes, transcreations, translations, word meaning sections for you to peruse. And I hope you, get some time to reflect on what your relationship is with that being and what company you're seeking, so that you may cultivate a more intimate understanding of the one. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.